Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Lay Film. I'm one of your hosts, Patrick, and joining me today are my good friends and co-hosts,
Jezzer,
Tyler,
and Kevin.
And today's episode is about a film picked by myself. I'm going to gas it up, but it's Princess Arete. I think is what we've come with as a consensus, is what we've agreed upon.
I'm going to say Arete.
Okay, I'm going to say it wrong too.
I like Ariete.
Like
There's no
R-E-D?
I.
Princess R.
I was calling it Arte before, but it's a 2001 Japanese animated film about a princess and her adventure, challenging gender and conforming to roles. And it's based on a book from 1983 or 85 called The Clever Princess. And I don't know if we should hop right into that, or, it's been a couple days. There's a motorcycle outside doing sweet jumps.
I was like, what the fuck is that?
He has a moped, dude.
There's a moped out there delivering pizzas.
Did you guys ever ride a moped?
I wish.
Oh,
I wish.
Yeah.
You did?
With like the little engine on the back and
Yeah,
shit?
yeah.
Dude.
Those things look so janky.
You like swap out the engine into like a weed whacker if you want to. You could ride a fucking scooter and then go edge your lawn after. BOGO.
Bogo.
Those were
Bogo
the good
deal.
old days.
before.
2 in 1.
But yeah, what has everyone been up to? I know you've been riding a moped.
Yeah, dude, I don't even know. I don't think I've watched anything since our last pod, to be honest.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, we should.
You know what I did watch? I watched Sunday morning football. I did go backpacking this last weekend for a day, actually. That was cool.
Okay.
Where'd you go?
At Island Lake. Have you been there? I feel like you've been there.
Where's
Island
that
Lake. You go up 80 and then you get off on 20. It's in Tahoe National Forest, though. It's pretty
Okay.
chill. You like park. You only got to hike in like 2 miles and then...
Only 2 miles.
It's not even that bad. Yeah, it's only like 2 miles. It's not like a lot of elevation
Okay.
gain or anything. So it only
Okay.
takes like 40 minutes to get to it. And then after that, though, you set up camp and there's like all types of hiking to do from
Nice.
there.
Nice.
It's cool. It's cool. Man, we only saw each other last week.
I know. I feel like we've been on a
Yeah.
knock on wood.
Revealing the secrets of the podcast.
We've been on a good roll lately.
Yes.
I haven't seen anything. I haven't done much. Just watching more Pokemon. Yeah, man.
What's been your favorite Pokemon episode you've seen recently?
Recently?
Yeah.
Man.
And we're talking about the first season of
Yeah,
Pokemon.
first season, and also I go back and forth to the Johto season, like when they get to Region 2. Favorite episode? It's always got to be like the OG stuff, like the Charmander episode, the Ghost of Maiden Peak episode, the one where they get stranded after the St. Anne ship breaks because of Team Rocket or whatever.
Oh, I love that episode.
Like-
That's the one where they're stuck, right?
Yeah, all those episodes are so, yeah. Although from the Johto seasons, there's an episode where Meryl, like, the gang gets separated and Misty has to take care of a Meryl. That's the only episode that's recently from the Johto season that's made me, like, tear up a little. I'm like, oh. Because, like, the Meryl, like, is like a crybaby at first, and then it learns to toughen up. And then at the end of the episode, she has to say bye to the Meryl, like, she's been captured or anything. And I'm like, oh. So, yeah, it's been a cool time.
Nice. Trying to think. I've been playing some more soccer. That's nice. Just kicking the ball around with my bro and going to work. And I'm going to Hawaii soon.
Yeah, you are.
So I'll be AWOL for hopefully an episode or two. And then, I don't think I've been watching anything. The Forever Winter. I just remember the talk about that now. But yeah, it looks like a cool game. I hope we could all get on.
What's it called?
Forever Winter.
Oh, it's multiplayer?
It's going to be a 4-person co-op. You play as scavengers in the future war.
Oh, isn't this supposed to be like the Tarkov-esque?
Yeah, it's
game?
like third person, and I think the basic plot is it's hell on Earth. War has been automated to an extent where war is never ending, and there's just factories 3D printing guns and tanks and soldiers enlisting to avoid not being victims of war.
War has changed.
Oh yeah, it looks great. It looks grim.
That sounded like a sound bit or a sound bite.
But yeah, that's the only thing I've popular media I think I wanted to talk about, and yeah, I don't think there's been anything else really. It's pretty dry right now. That's because I'm not watching anything. I should really do that again.
But we did watch Princess Arete.
Yes.
That we did.
Princess Art.
For me, I have been busy editing a music video for a local band here in
Wow.
Sacramento,
What
California.
band? What band?
916. What up?
Light the beam.
The Snares.
Snares.
If you guys haven't heard them, both you guys and listeners out there, if you're looking for a really fucking sick band that rips and you want to go see them live as well in whatever city, they're called The Snares. And they have a new album coming out in, I think on Halloween. Yeah, Halloween this year.
How fun.
And I helped them out, I want to say a few months ago, like shooting a video for them, like a live performance. And they liked our work so much that they asked me and my friend to shoot their recent performance here in Sacramento. And they wanted us to create a music video for a new single that they came out with called What You Said. And oh man, this album rips.
Holy shit.
I'm really excited. I'm almost done with the music video. If you check out the music video and you're like, oh, I like this, then definitely check out the rest of their music. They're a great band. It's been a lot of fun working on it. Aside from that, I got a new kitten named Gigi from Kiki's Delivery Service. Name it after the cat, whatever. It's one of my favorite movies. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's been a handful.
Yeah.
Yeah, no big deal. But I played a D&D recently, which was really cool.
Cool.
I played a bugbear, which is like a 7.5 foot tall Sasquatch creature.
Wow.
I played as a monk because I like that class. I did that in Baldur's Gate 3. It was a lot of fun. Currently in Baldur's Gate 3, I'm playing that right now again. I am doing a Paladin Vengeance of Oath playthrough, and I'm cosplaying as a combo between Shaquille O'Neal and Shrek. and you guys want to know his name? Shrek.
I love it.
I was like, damn it, dude.
Shrek.
I know it's going to be.
Sounds like a dude from fucking Space Ghost.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Zorak and Shrek.
Yeah.
And he says, hit him with a Shrek attack.
Yeah, I just smite people. That's really cool. But that's all I've been up to. I haven't watched anything, although there have been some really cool movies playing at Tower recently.
Yeah, there's like some stuff about to come out too this fall.
Mm-hmm. And I've just been so busy that I haven't been able to catch any of the movies. Like, I still really want to see Dee Dee.
Oh yeah, it's still playing. I don't know for how much longer though, but
I might want to catch that tomorrow if I have time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, I've just been trying to keep my head above water with work. Yep. But this movie was a welcome respite for me. Like, this movie, I feel like was, if I had seen this when I was, prime ages growing up, it would have completely shaped me. And I felt echoes of that as I was watching that today.
I'm glad you guys liked it. Princess Arete? Arete. Yeah, it's a good. I'm trying to give it a little intro, but it's a good. It's about an idyllic kingdom, in a fantasy land that seems like one you'd want to live in. It's not that modern, grimdark. All men are evil. Not all men are evil, but the evils of humanity. There's no toilets back then. That stuff. I don't want that ruining my. Yeah, I want happy, good time. That's what this film is. It's about a inquisitive and clever princess as she looks to find her role in the world outside of being what she's assigned, which is a princess. And then on her journeys, we see, characters' development. And then some great parallels I love that have a payoff later on towards the end. And, it kind of it's kind of hiccups here and there, but it's it's not Citizen Kane. It's a nice, just happy, feel good movie. So I'm curious to see.
Nice little adventure.
Yeah, and then the great art. I just love the art. It's 01, so it's not.
It is pretty unique. I don't think I've ever seen anything from the studio or from these animators before. Like, aside from Ghibli stuff, like I've seen like stuff from Makoto Shinkai or like Mamoru Hosoda, but whoever studio and director did this, I was like, this is pretty unique. I kind of enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's a big draw for me.
Yeah, what's the studio called? It's like 4 degrees Celsius?
Studio 4C, I think.
Studio 4C.
They've made a bunch of cool stuff.
Really?
In recent years, I don't want to get it wrong, so keep talking. I'll look this up real quick.
Okay.
I think didn't the director also work under Miyazaki?
Did he?
I would believe it.
Yeah,
shit.
I think I read that. I think a few people that were on this film were like employed under Ghibli at one point.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I know the director was.
Yeah.
I read that.
All right, I found a bunch of things that they've made. They were a part of Memories, which Mamoru Oshii.
It's a banger.
Oh.
They did Spriggan, which I really want to see.
I have that copy from you.
Oh shit! They immediately followed that up with Princess Arete. Let's see. Oh, they did the Berserk trilogy, the Golden Age.
Those are
arc.
really
yeah.
good.
Oh, on
Yeah.
Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh shit. What?
Yeah, they did those.
How did they go from that to this? I mean, you know what I mean? What?
They did Justice League, Flashpoint Paradox,
DC.
Children of the Sea.
That's a banger.
Oh, TV series. They did Thundercats, the 2011 version.
What? I love that show. What the fuck?
They did Kimagure Robot, Tweenie Witches,
What?
Pipero,
That sounds so generic.
Transformers Animated 2007.
Okay.
What OV? Oh, they did Halo Legends. I don't know. They've done like a bunch of
Bunch of interesting
yeah,
stuff.
very
Halo
interesting
Legends.
stuff. Yeah.
Classic.
Huh.
Get in the bag in some areas, but then doing their own thing in some others.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, he did work with Miyazaki.
Yes.
It says right here, Miyazaki hired him to write screenplays for Sherlock Hound. I've never heard of that. A series that fell into disarray. And then from there, he also joined Miyazaki and a few other people on the Little Nemo project,
Okay.
which I'm
never
unaware
heard of
of
it.
either, to be honest.
Yeah, I know a little. Yeah, no.
Some video games they've done is Ape Escape, Pumped and Primed,
Okay.
Jeanne d'Arc, Ace
Ooh.
Combat X, Street
Oh, okay.
Fighter 4.
What?
Nice.
Yeah,
the
isn't that
fuck?
crazy? Hack Link,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Catherine, Asura's Wrath.
Catherine.
Oster's Wrath. What? Oh my
Yeah.
god, dude.
They've done a bunch of cool. They even did a commercial for Mega Man Zero, which is
What?
one of my core games.
Yeah.
for
Oh yeah. Mega Man Zero's tight,
Game Boy
dude.
Advance. Come on,
Fuck yeah.
come
dude.
on, baby.
I want to touch on Jane d'Arc. It's Fire Emblem Joan of Arc.
What?
Love it.
Ooh,
It's
it
awesome.
is?
Yeah.
Oh,
Damn, dude.
I love Fire Emblem and Joan of Arc as well. So that's like top tier right there.
So this is that studio, same studio, all this shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Studio 4 degrees C or 4
yeah.
degrees Celsius.
Yeah. That's cool. Huh.
But yeah, I think this is one of their more. It's not Flashpoint. This feels like a very unique thing, an outing. I don't think it was rewarded for this bravery because I had never heard of it. I came across it on one of those websites where I get movies, and I just saw the cover.
Where you totally pay for that.
Yes. I was just browsing also. But yeah, it just had like a 6.2 rating or 7 something rating. I saw the cover. I was like, okay, this looks unique. And then I opened it. And I saw like a still from the trailer of her in front of that tapestry of the princess being rescued by the knights, or the princess in the tower and the knights.
Yeah, the prophecy.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what, that looks. I like it's a unique style. The characters have a unique look, and I was like, you know what, I'm down for this. And then I watched it and thoroughly enjoyed it. So, how'd you guys feel about the style? Their eyes aren't as big in anime like. I really appreciate that.
Well, like I said, I think it's really unique. I thought it was really cutesy. I even like just the background art and like how they just drew the environments. I thought was pretty cool, pretty simple.
The lighting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Going
immaculate.
through the tunnels and stuff.
Yeah, they take the time to. Yeah, that's.
There was
on
one
this-
scene where like she like turns a corner and like goes around a bend and it's like goes dark and then light and then dark and light. I'm like, wow, they freaking. That must have took some time.
Yeah, the one where she's in the tower or in her room basically, and the knights, her suitors visit her, and it's just lit by that one or the two candle lights on the table. Yeah. I don't know. It was so immaculate. Yeah.
That's Jezer. That's one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie because probably my favorite thing that I experienced while watching this movie is just going along for the ride. And it's been so long since I've seen a film that's like meant for like all audiences that just completely goes against every single trope that you can imagine.
Yeah.
With like one of the oldest genres, which is fantasy, and it pays off so well. That suitor scene where it's like filled with like kind of like comedy, but also like disgust and like revulsion of like
fear.
and fear. And you see like these older men like just like vying for the attention of this like young girl, and it's like they're climbing up like a giant castle just to like tell them about the trials that they've undergone courtesy of her original wishes
To gain some favor.
which she didn't even like necessarily want to begin with. And but it's like they're both disgusting, but also you can sense like where they're coming from in a certain way of like, oh, I did this to earn favor with your family, and I slayed all these things, and I love the flashbacks that they do. Like they're like so quick. They're who's that one knight who like is almost killed by the Vikings or the elephants?
Dolomor.
Dolomor,
yeah.
He's telling the grand like there was a monster with bat wings on its head and a long tongue. I love that whole scene is introduced with her like sneaking away to the treasure cave, like the king has a dragon's lair of treasure, and she just wants to grab the book, and then she's reading about the golden eagle in the mountain range.
Isn't that crazy that out of all the things she grabs, it's the book
That's
of
her
like
character.
history and like stories and fables,
Yeah.
rather than the depressed fairy inside of the glass orb doing its like dance for the millionth time.
Or the walking treasure chest made of gold and jewels. It's like, no, I want to read the book. And it really establishes her character. But yeah, like she's so curious about the outside world, and this guy comes in as like, oh, here's my chance to talk to him and learn about it, and then quickly it's like, oh wait, this guy like killed an elephant with his ignorance. He's killed an elephant. Now he's claiming he killed all these people, and I don't want any of this. This is all just to get rare artifacts for the kingdom.
Yeah, it's very I don't want to say postmodern. Maybe it is, I don't know, but it's very much like going against the grain of your typical fantasy tropes. I mean, just the scene alone where Delabor or whatever and the other suitor like visits her. They even have that philosophical debate. Like, first of all, they have that scene playing chess as a fucking visual metaphor, and then they have that philosophical discussion about like ruling over like all these people, and there's like a wide sweeping shot of the entire like neighboring kingdom, and it's so obvious that she actually genuinely cares like about her queenly duties and like wanting to like provide for people, but of course she wants to, as you say, Pat, like go out into the world and like live a life outside of those castle walls. And even later in the movie when she's kidnapped, like it's funny that like the spell that she's put under by the wizard, she's tricked into like becoming like that demure like regular typical princess who's like waiting in a tower to be rescued by a knight and what have you. And it just, again, I don't want to say postmodern because I feel like maybe that's overused, but I love how it's so against the grain.
Yeah, there's a lot of revisionism to it, and like I feel like I've heard of this movie before, or at least I've seen like the still images of the princess. But I've always like, it's kind of like melded with like a bunch of other like movies like that. Like Princess Kaguya and Princess the
Millennium Princess.
Yeah,
Shrek.
Yeah. But yeah, like they definitely melds into that entire genre of the princess like waiting to be rescued, and they do like an excellent, just complete pivot in that. And I'm so happy that everything panned out the way it did with it. But even from like the opening segments of it, where they have that recurring motif of the princess like looking out over the town and really honing in on each and every single different person. Like you have I think it opens up with like a glass blower who's inside of just blowing like a new thing, and then you have somebody making pottery, and everybody just working with their hands and like creating things, and it really creates like this magical realism, which is very strange to say inside of like an animated film, but it perfectly captures it, and in a way that can't be done in, you know, live action stuff or in other formats. They really bring to life such unique elements with it. And I'm honestly really glad that you picked this movie, because it was such a rejuvenating watch for me. And like you mentioned something about this isn't like your typical like grimoire fantasy? Grimdark
like just Game of Thrones.
Yeah, where it's like where there is no more magic left in the world. Like it's like evil is reigning, and like the hearts of humans are just dark and everything like that.
And the beauty is there's no magic left in this world either. But she looks at her hands and says, you know, these are capable of magic. What magic can I learn? Mm-hmm. Not in a magical sense, but like the magical sense of community or, you know, artistic expression.
And there's also that battle of like self-generated magic versus the old magic that exists, where you have like these celestial beings and these celestial wizards who are almost like aliens on the planet, with like creating like star-shaped spaceships going out into the space and creating like fake moons and like all these like wild stories. And
they're us. Yeah, I love that detail. Like they're like somehow an equally advanced civilization to current times, but extinct or gone. Like the evil wizards, is it Boaks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Boaks. I'm not gonna spoil it too much yet, but he's reliant on a crystal, and then that crystal at one point talks to him like the way Siri would. And this predates Siri. Where it's like,
it's
what's
activate
your
clairvoyance mode.
Yeah. It's like, what's your function? And it's like, this is, you know, it's magic, but it's also technology as magic. And, you know, the smaller stuff is the magic that our characters pursue in the world that we actually live in real life, but they're showing the negatives of our real world at the same time through the long gone wizard's race, where, you know, they go to the stars, their goal is to go to space, they destroy themselves somehow. And then in the wizard Boaks, we see his reliance on not making new things or thinking of new ideas or exploring the world a new way or seeing the world with different perspectives. It's all locked into the old magic, and he's so reliant on it. It's they have like a direct parallel throughout the film, and that's why towards the end you kind of sympathize with him a lot more for his, you know.
Yeah, he's almost at the end. He's almost like your classic princess locked away in a castle.
They're both locked at that castle, and then I love that he's read his own fairy story or his own fairy tale. He's the evil wizard who's failed by the princess, and he's like, that's why I got to go lock her up and do all this. And then she does, in a way, inadvertently doom him, but at the same time she
also saves him in a way too, right?
He's looking at his own hands, thinking about what he can do with his life that remains, instead of being an immortal being trapped in a desolate landscape in an abandoned tower.
You know, while I was watching this, I kept thinking about Berserk as a whole, like in the Golden Age arc. And, you know, after finding out that the same studio like ended up doing that eventually, there's so many parallels between just the type of the diversity of like the different classes of in the actual film itself. Like the it's like you have the noble people just below the ruling class, and it's just a bunch of old white guys.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all like crowding together in like different rooms, like talking about like, oh, did you hear the latest gossip? And like all these different things.
Keeps cutting back when the wizard shows up. It's like, I want to do this, and they all run back in that small room, and the camera does like the tilt down to them all huddled and whispering, and then they go out and talk to him again. And he's like, well, I'll do it for this, and then they run back.
Yeah, it's like they really captured the bureaucracy of the monarchy, and
those castle systems and shit.
Exactly, and I love all of like the minutia of like the details of even like how old castles are constructed and how all of the history has been like wiped away. Like people don't even know that there's like underground like tunnels and everything like that, and because it just doesn't matter. Like they're just more concerned with like riches and everything like that. But one thing that I was like super repulsed by was the father, like the king himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's also trapped though. I like he seems like a wormwood or worm tongue. The Twin Towers king, I think, who's like old and decrepit because he's become complacent and there's the evil
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, there's the evil under guy with like literally poisoning them and keeping them like, no, your kingdom's weak, everyone will die, don't do anything.
Yeah.
Where he's very much the same. You could tell the nobles like when they get all the treasures and they're storing them away, even though they're like printing coins.
Mm-hmm.
And the room was full of chests. They're like, oh, our people won't starve, thank God. And like they're probably lining their own pockets or whatever. Like the weight of the people in the kingdom seems to keep him trapped to his chair where he's distant from his daughter.
Yeah.
And then it's revealed that I think it's the death of her mother at a young age has really isolated her to the castle or the tower.
I love that, like, that scene with Dolabor when he's just talking about how he's like, yeah, I went to this castle and I slayed this. I guess it was an elephant, but I thought it sounded like he was talking about like a dragon type of thing or like an eagle type of thing. But yeah, he's like, I killed the animal, I killed other people, and she's just like mortified, like. She's like, those are people too. They were like probably attacking you because you killed their pet, and
she starts playing chess fast. And,
yeah,
like, kings his ass like, I'm done with you.
And I was just like, damn, that like sucked me in. And then I was like, this would be, I mean, not to say that like movies like whatever, like Frozen or Shrek are bad movies for kids, but I'm like, I feel like this would be a great movie if it was that popular too for for kids.
Yeah, a lot of good messages.
Because she's so like empathetic and considerate of people.
Like it's giving strong female character, but not like 2020 girl boss written by men in your American studios kind of a thing, you know?
It's a real character. She's very believable.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't like give in to basically other people's entrapments as easily as like all these other devices. And she always maintains like some sort of like will, even when she's under the spell of Bokes. Like she still has that like inner monologue of saying like, oh, there's something I need to be doing, or no, this isn't me. I need to somehow like get past this like this curse that's been placed upon me. Like she's always trying, always trying to gain like new information and just basically break free.
Mm-hmm. One thing I thought was interesting about my experience with the film was I felt the same way about this as I did The Boy and the Heron, whereas like, so you know, usually with Japanese anime stories, it's like a 4-act structure rather than your American 3-act structure, and so watching this movie, I felt not necessarily lost. Maybe I don't want to use the word lost, but something similar to Boy and the Heron, where I was like trying to connect like the plot points, and I felt like it wasn't as cohesive as like when I'm watching other 3-act structure films. Like I had to like watch the movie and then look it up on Wikipedia to see like all these things. Like I was lost about why Bokes wanted to kidnap her, and then I was lost about what is it that like she really wants, and like, you know. And so I don't know, I wonder if that was the same for you guys, like if you like were following everything every little bit, or like was some things lost on you like it was for me.
I would say on my second viewing, it's a lot more coherent.
Mm-hmm.
There's like, because there's a lot. It's like Ghost in the Shell, the first one, where there's a lot of like one lines that connects. One line said once. Like the first time I watched, I didn't pick up on the Bokes had used clairvoyance, or the stone to scry into the future, or get a description of the future
Mm.
about his own death or his own, and it just tells him like, oh, you die because this princess steals your magic and makes you mortal again. And he's like, oh yeah, I gotta go capture this princess and lock her away to be safe. And then, you know, the aspect of what's his true form, it's kind of blurred.
Yeah.
Because he turns back into a kid to express that this is as intelligent as I was when I was abandoned, and that's why I can't do no new magic, and that's why he's given up hope, and he's so like childishly like stuck.
Right.
He's too afraid to experience new things or go out, where the princess is the inverse, where she's trapped and longing to escape and go out.
That's
and do
interesting.
good, and he just wants to protect himself, and that is doing bad for a lot of people. But yeah, like the golden eagle, like the first time I did see it, I did catch the gleam of it on that scene when they're flying away in that little flying contraption. And then when the flying contraption is first shown, it stalls and almost crashes, and then it picks up again, so showing like, oh, he's incompetent. It's like a weird little there's a lot of little details about.
Yeah. So something probably like a second viewing would remedy for me, huh?
Yeah. Or just it really helps connect the through line, because like the stuff with the kingdom is kind of that's my takeaway, is like the first third maybe?
Yeah.
Before she leaves the kingdom and is transformed into a more demure princess. It's more, you know, there's like, oh, there's some intrigue about the kingdom and what's going to happen. The king, what's up with him? Is he controlled by the council, or what's their politics? Is someone going to marry her? She could be married away. But then it quickly shifts when they go to the wizard's tower.
Yeah.
It's a lot more like, oh, it's about the old magic world and reliance on, for us, the modern audience, reliance on that magic technology or modern living, and how that can make you it can pacify you, like it has the wizard, make you afraid and childlike, arrested development. Or it can make you, and the way to escape that is be like the princess, forward thinking, willing to help others. And yeah, that was my takeaway on this viewing. There's just like a lot of little hints about those two, they're the two central characters, conflicting philosophies, and how it resolves in the end.
That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, it makes more sense when like the way you're explaining it and everything. But yeah, otherwise, like I love this movie. It was really cool. I enjoyed how there's no big epic like things that are happening. It's really just her trying to like break out of these princess stereotypes and live the freedom she wants to have, and then number 2, like stopping this wizard from being like a town dick.
But he's like, I like that he's like a child that they just kind of take care of on the periphery.
Yes.
Or at least is it Ample?
Yeah.
The village girl. Where she doesn't hate the wizard, but she does resent the fact that the village has suffered, not from the wizard's doing directly, it's just a drought, or the land's wells have dried, like the environment has changed. But she looks at how her mom's or her grandma's life was, you know, not tending to the wizard, just giving them food every day, and she's like, well, I want more for the people after me. I want my kids, I'm gonna dig a well so my kids don't have to feed this fool either. They can go out and do their own things. They can see the world and have a better life. Like very, very maternal or paternal perspective from Ample.
Yeah, I felt the same way about. Actually, in the end, when it comes to Boakes, I don't know if I have too much sympathy for him.
It's like, what did he do? He's not even punished. He just has to live as a human.
He's no longer immortal.
Yeah, and everybody accepts him in the village, but it's like, now that you brought up the point of Ample's grandmother, who just basically devoted her entire life to this agreement in fear of Boakes, you know, rescinding his offer of giving them water, which, of course, like, him giving them water, like, even if it's just that small jug with, like, the snake stone inside of it, that's such a dick move.
But he's American. He gives them just enough.
Just enough to keep them wanting more.
Yes, just enough to keep feeding them. Keep the,
But it's like
he's rent seeking.
But at the same time, like, he's created these grueling, like, just enough to get him by, but they're still so spread thin on, like, resources and everything, and just creating. He is a dragon.
Yeah.
He's a dragon without being, like, a mythical one, and like even the kingdom itself that the princess is a part of, like the king, going out and being like, oh, you have to go. Or all these suitors have to go and, obtain these magical items, like slaughter whoever you need to, slaughter whatever you need to, take advantage of whoever, just bring back this artifact, and then we'll deem you worthy or not of the princess's favor. And in one hand, like, I totally get the brainwashing of the American dream, so to speak. In a metaphorical way of speaking. And then, for instance, like the other suitor who, like, taps on the window with, like, the rose, which
on the other window.
Yeah. He's like super Prince Charming.
Yeah, I loved
So
his
classic.
accent. I loved his accent.
I love that she shuts it. The first, he's like, "Princess, I'm here," and she just slowly shuts it in his face because she's done.
And what does he say? He's like, "Oh, this is a rose from Africa, magical land." Or
Yeah.
She's like, "It's from the East Garden. Someone was really taking care of it."
And you could tell that, like, it's probably endangered. He probably picked one of the few last ones. And then he says something along the lines of, I'm going to treasure you more than this rose. I'm going to keep you locked away in a little box where nobody can touch you. And it's like, oh, God, that's so disgusting.
Then he goes to call her plain at the end.
Yeah.
Once he gets any pushback.
Yeah,
he's like,
like,
actually, you're ugly.
He's like, oh, well, she called me a liar that I didn't do this. And they're, like, just holding on to these, like, few words that she may or may not have even said. Like, it's just insinuated. But I don't know, like, I loved the way that it portrayed a lot of different archetypes of, like, people, of just, I mean, and these are, like, timeless kinds of people, because, you have all sorts of ones with, like, these different traits and whatnot. But I just think about, like, all of the horrors that were committed, just as, like, an afterthought of being like, oh, after all these duties that I'm doing throughout the day, I'm going to hang out in the throne room and then hear from these suitors, oh, what's the story behind this magical artifact that you're bringing me that I'm just going to hoard and potentially sell for the kingdom's profit? Even though we're doing fine, like, we're thriving,
Yeah.
we're just holding on to too much. And that's why the peasants or the lower class isn't thriving.
But yeah, I like the detail too of when she tries to escape the first time, when the wizard first arrives, she takes the book with her, and in the story, like, they get to the final gate, and then it's kind of not open to interpretation, but they clearly, like, those two guards were, like, shoving her the whole way. That's why she has, like, dirt on her, because they're, like, like, doing, like, 2 steps, like, keep going, because, like, she was just trying to leave the outside of the kingdom's walls, and they're like, okay, we got to search you guys, and she had that big gold book with, about the wizard's history, and, like, oh, this may be a witch, or what is this magical artifact? Actually, the king wants this, and we're just gonna, like, march you there to see if we need to put you in a dungeon or kill you, or just steal this and send you on your way.
Yeah, that brings up a good point about the witch character.
I wanted to get everyone's opinion on that because I really enjoy that character on this viewing too.
Oh,
Yeah,
The young girl.
I think I got the witch and, like, Ample mixed up for a little bit during the film.
Me too, yeah.
But I did enjoy the scene where, because I believe the witch loses her immortality also, right?
She's looking in the treasure room because everyone's bringing artifacts there. She's looking for another one of those stones.
Mm-hmm. And then she has, like, exchange with Arete where Arete, she's like, I have no meaning to life now. And then she's like, do you think there's still meaning? And she's like, yes, I do.
Of course I do.
And then I think that ties back. That's why I feel bad for Boakes.
Because he has no
Because he doesn't have a meaning for life either, because he's just been living immortal and he's, like, the last of his kind. Like, that scene at the end where she's like, what is she's like, tells him to, like, think of a memory.
She's like, I'll do a magic trick right now.
Yeah, and
And
he's
he's
like,
like, okay,
he's
whatever.
like, she's like, imagine anything. Like, where's your favorite place? And then he's has like this flow of like
Emotions.
memory and emotion of like his mom holding him on the beach with the waves crashing, and I thought that was like the most beautiful scene in the whole movie. And then you're like, okay, yeah, like,
And she's like, "That's my magic. I'm
Yeah.
going on your quest."
because he really didn't have anything to live for, you know, like he has no family, nothing. And then I don't know, maybe it's like you need like a term limit. Like if you live an immortal life, really, what is there to live for with an immortal life? If you've already lived enough, I guess.
Damn.
Or like him, he's too afraid to lose it. He can be doing
Yeah.
anything, but he's staying.
Because then life isn't
Secluded
precious
away.
at that point.
That's a good point. I forgot the witch character was
Oh,
in
she's
this movie.
the first visitor after the two suitors leave. The young
Yeah.
the young child, the young girl, I think.
Yeah, I think I was like, what is this character about? And then she only appears like, what, twice, right?
She appears then, and then when the wizard transforms her into a storybook princess on her wedding, they're putting the wedding gown on her. The witch has somehow got herself as like one of the children attending to her
Oh, yeah,
for the wedding, and that's where she gives her the ring, saying, it's like, here's a ring that will grant 3 wishes. You can use this to escape if you're smart. And then she says, I think she's done a spell to wipe her own memory the second she leaves the castle's grounds, so she'll live as a child and live a human life.
Okay.
Because she I guess she views herself as, because like her philosophy, there's no point to life if you're gonna die. But she's still wise enough to like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to live as a human. I'm gonna have to wipe my witch memory and become an orphan child in the city.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know, I completely forgot about that character. And everything you're saying is now making sense, but when I was watching it, I really just couldn't like remember like the importance of this character, what she had to do with anything. So I don't know.
Yeah, because then she gets that ring with the 3 wishes, and the whole time, like once she got it, I'm like, okay, just
Wish your way out.
wish your way out.
But she's a stereotypical fairy tale princess. She can't escape on her own or take action. So she's like, oh, I wish the dungeon was more suited for me, a princess, and all the rats scurry out and never come back.
But then that even goes to like what you were saying before of like the wizards using the magic that was like created, or like material magic. She does, and then Arete doesn't use in the whole film ever really use like that material magic that has been around before. She just uses the magic within herself.
Yeah, the human magic.
Which is what she says at the end too,
Yeah.
to Bugs.
No, yeah, this time I got emotional when she leaves the wizard's tower after making the swear with the ring to if she ever takes a step backwards away from going to the Golden Eagle, she'll be struck by lightning, and the lightning strike shoots up in the air, like waiting for her above her forever. And she crosses a hill, and like the first thing she does when she's fully out of sight is like, take a step back. And then she says like, oh, it must be because I'm no longer the princess. But I was like, no, it's because you're going back to help Ample in the village and help the wizard, and then you're going to go to the Golden Eagle. Like whatever the fates or nature knows, you taking that step backwards is of pure intention towards your goal.
Or is it because of the prophecy?
The she the book. When she swears like, I swear I will go to the Golden Eagle, and any step backwards from that quest, strike me with lightning. And she takes a physical step backwards, and it's like, oh no, she hasn't taken any step backwards. She's doing a little detour side mission to help these people because she's committed to. In her heart is still committed to that quest, that adventure seeking. And the wizard is the inverse. He's sending her on an adventure in hopes that she dies. Or he views the whole adventure as a death sentence. Like any adventuring is too dangerous, and he's so pacified. Like even Grovel like bullies him. He has to pretend like he can do something.
Justice for Grovel, dude.
Grovel got freed first. When he got turned...
Yeah.
Oh, like, yeah, I guess...
He got freed from the curse of mortal consciousness.
Oh, yeah, right.
No,
I'm just going to croak now.
Ample
I love how they use the
hits him.
frogs too, and like the typical freaking.
There's like 70 of them hanging out. He's just been turning stuff that annoys him into a frog. Like, oh, I hit my leg on this rock, this chair. You're a frog now. Get out of here.
Yeah, fuck you, get out of here.
But they all just go to where the water source is. So he doesn't even care. That, again, it shows he's not as cruel as he puts on. And then I love the ample line where I forget if she's she's telling the princess about her dream of building a well to help the village. And then Grovel's like, oh, like if I told the wizard that he'd turn you into a frog too, he's like teasing her and berating her dream. And she turns to Grovel, and it's like, it's a real shame he turned you into that form to say such horrible things. Or no, you wouldn't say such horrible things if you weren't like that, if you were still a frog.
Yeah.
And he's like, damn. He just like sulks away.
I think Grovel is my favorite character. He's fucking funny.
Grovel's great, yeah.
I like how he's like always teasing Vokes. He's like, well,
Just do this.
You turned me into a fucking humanoid so I could hang out with you because you're lonely. Like,
It's like, yeah, he's like, evil wizard? Like, no, he's getting bullied by his little frog summon. But yeah, he gets turned into a frog, and then we see him swimming in the water in nature.
Happy ending.
I will say I love the scene where we're like first introduced to Vokes. That transition totally felt like a Ghibli transition, or like Miyazaki, where it's like the pan like above the sky over the forest and his like spaceship sail, whatever you want to call that. With the music was great. Like I feel like if you would have told me this was a Ghibli movie, I would have just believed you. I would have been like, oh yeah, for sure.
I believe the only thing missing is like the unique style.
Yeah, it's a little different though still, but
I love it though.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the animation style of this and the overall feel. Like you mentioned something about the eyes not being as bulgy as like some of the other like typical like animation of like today's age, and the colors were muted in a way as well, and like the lack of like details in certain things, like there was far more like watercolors, and everything just looked so beautiful. And the castle designs and like even the landscapes, everything just felt
simple and good.
Yeah, it was like an ode to nature, and like it was such a beautiful like sensation to watch this.
Yeah, it reminded me of like a medieval like painting kind of the style of it.
Yeah. I will say I also really enjoyed the soundtrack.
Love the music. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know who worked on it, but I loved a lot of the stuff that I heard. It reminded me of like Dot Hack Sign, like that, like, you know, not dark fantasy, but yeah, like fantasy-ish realm of music. A lot of harp and strings and stuff.
Strings.
Yeah, it was really cool. It really did transport me.
Again, when the motif plays, when she's going back to the kingdom after helping the village. And yeah, it's just like a pan. It's like a shot of the sky and clouds and these beautiful backgrounds of trees.
Yeah.
And it just pans down to her like getting a ride on a carriage. It's like that's idyllic, living in harmony with nature world. The kingdom's not doing good. The king, at least, or the court, they're hoarding wealth. And the wizard wasn't doing good, but the princess, through her cunning and care for others, was able to help the water flow. And even Vokes, a detail I caught this time, Vokes helped a lot. Inadvertently. But when he makes the keep or the tower turn into the giant, and he self-deprecates himself. That's a great line I love too. It's like, turn into the most insignificant thing ever.
And it turns into a statue of himself.
A statue of himself.
And she's like, what did she say? She's like, stop treating yourself like that.
Yeah, like, why do you gotta degrade yourself?
Oh
like
yeah,
this?
that's what she said.
Like, why are you mocking insulting yourself? He's still in the child form at that moment. Like, that's his true form.
Yeah.
And it, like, at least mentally. And then he's like, oh, crush them all, and like a little tantrum. And then it breaks in half and spills itself sideways, which creates that beautiful, like, flat well that surges the water into the valley. So, yeah, like that little cauldron wasn't going to be enough. The bucket wasn't going to be enough but he did it.
I honestly really love the way that they craft these magical items. Like, for instance, like the snake pebble, or I forget the name of it, but it's like it seems like such like a trivial thing in that world, but at the same time, like there's so much magic imbued in it. It's like, how did somebody discover this thing?
I love the idea. I was like,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And I love not knowing, like, because there's so much like left to the imagination with just the magic in the world, and like how it's only left the books at this point. And you have the witch, who is just completely given up hope of finding this gem that can like transmute her magical energy to where she can continue to be immortal. And it's like it just seems like the decline of magic as a means of like relying upon things and just going back to the land, so to speak. And I just love that so much. And there's this one series that Goro Miyazaki, the son of the infamous Miyazaki, he created this series called Ronya the Robber's Daughter. And I was watching this a while ago. It's very much centered towards kids. Each episode's about like 10-15 minutes, but it's about this group of bandits that are taking up refuge in an abandoned castle, and that's their whole thing. They're just bandits. They rob from the rich, and they live off the land. And once you come of age, you have to go out into the land and basically survive as like a rite of passage. And Ronya is coming of age in this series, and she goes and she's exploring like their connection to nature and land, and like the forces of for instance like the river, the forces of like a waterfall, of like various harpies, like creatures that surround the land. And it very much reminds me of of the spirituality that is present inside of this film, Princess Arete, because it's an equal exchange of humanity and nature living in harmony with one another rather than against one another or abusing one or the other. So yeah, if you want to check out that show, it's called Ronya the Robber's Daughter. I didn't finish it. I'd like to. It's just something to throw on. You watch and it's a feel good show. But yeah, I really like the feel of these kinds of movies and just media.
No, I love it. I think it's kind of gone. Now everything's, I don't know.
I don't think I've seen anything close to this in recent years, recent memory, aside from Studio Ghibli stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like there's no hope.
Nothing left.
Nothing left.
No,
Abandon
no.
all hope.
Let me look at my hands. What magic can these do?
Yeah.
What can I do with this?
Or otherwise everything's dark fantasy.
Yeah,
Berserk.
Lord of the Rings. What's that? Have you guys seen that new ad? Sauron's back. Don't care.
Oh, in the Rings of
Yeah.
Power show
Don't care.
or whatever? Dude,
Oh.
that was...
No, Sauron's back. I hope he wins.
Does that show
I
bad?
did watch it. It wasn't bad. Like it,
Okay.
I loved Lord of the Rings enough to where I can just like
Yeah.
check out and like I don't have to like
Okay.
analyze it. Like I'm just here to get sucked
Okay,
into the
'cause-
world. But even then, like the show,
Not as
it does not.
Okay.
Like,
I was thinking of
stand
watching
next
it,
to
but
the films at all.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And I heard they put like $1 billion into that
I believe so.
series.
What?
With
That's
Amazon,
fucking
dude. That's
crazy.
like
What's
it's
Sauron?
like $100. Dude.
You need $1 billion because Sauron's back. It's an important story.
Yeah, I was thinking of watching it, but nah. But speaking of Lord of the Rings, did you see the trailer for the prequel animated movie?
Oh,
No.
Yeah, it looked sick. I'm pretty sure it's still Peter Jackson. It's anime, but it's a prequel. It has to do with the king of fucking Rohan, and
Oh,
like
fuck
So
yeah.
it goes before even.
Like
Okay.
it goes
Before-
into like Aragon.
nothing to do with Sauron.
Nothing
Like
to do with
or-
that. Yeah.
yeah, nothing to do
Rohan's
with.
not Aragon.
Bilbo. Nothing.
That's not Aragon.
Yeah.
I'm still against this.
You should look at the trailer. Yeah,
I'm still against this. I want Sam.
more Sam.
I want Sam. I want a Sam equivalent. I want even Gollum.
I want a sequel to Sam and his lady like raising children.
Yeah, they're just hanging out in the
like
Shire.
a family drama.
or anthology stories. I'd love to see little adventures, little contained stories in that universe. But again, like once we're touching kings, Like Princess Arete, she leaves the kingdom. I love that. Her
she's
goal
like,
is to
"Fuck
get out.
this."
Yeah, I want to be
Peace out.
I want to be
Yeah.
I want to be amongst people and live a life and dream like they do.
Dude, there's
That's where the real meaning is.
that there's like 2 shots. I always love these type of shots, like tracking shots, where there's the first one early in the film where it's like that slide like across like all those guys' faces, and then there's the one where she's sitting in the chair when she's like the typical princess, and it does like that tracking slide around
Yeah,
her.
it looks so
with, like, the
dramatic.
camera movement, yeah, and it's like so smooth, and it goes right behind her, and she's like staring. And at first, I thought it was an actual window, but then later in the film, you find out it's just a painting, and she's just like looking out, like just wanting to escape, get into the real world, the natural world.
And at the end of the movie,
Yeah, the end of yes.
there's one of Boke's when he's standing at the edge of the water looking at his hand.
Yeah,
Yes,
and it's like
yeah.
It like pulls in front of him and has like a 3D 2D effect,
Dude,
but
yeah.
it's not computer
And
generated.
isn't the in the background of that shot is the like waterfall geyser she created, right?
I want to say it.
Or it's like in that same
Valley.
sequence.
It may be a part of the spin, or maybe it introduces the scene that we're back there because
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
leave her off at returning to the kingdom as a citizen, not as a princess.
Can someone explain to me what the glowing artifact was at the beginning of the film? Was that important? Maybe I missed that. Maybe it went over my head.
It's just there's magic in the world.
It's just magic. Okay.
Yeah, it was like it seemed like a music box equivalent.
Oh yeah, the fairy inside
Yeah.
of just doing like this little dance.
Yeah, but it felt like it felt like a magic item that to us is like a music box.
Oh, okay.
Or to them it's a music box, and it's just like
Right.
to us it's amazing and magical, or to the kingdom and the people, like there's a little character in there dancing around, and
Right.
well now
Because that's what Dullabor stole, right, from
yeah
wherever, and
when he
that's
was running away.
and that's what Arete is trying to make a point of, like, oh, maybe like these other people are like are mad and are gonna come for us because you've like stolen something precious to them, which is just like you said, a child's music box probably or some shit.
Yeah, but to them it's like a grand artifact, but like its significance as like what it is, like magically,
Yeah.
it seems just to be like a little toy.
Yeah.
Just like how the great evil wizard's staff is kind of like something they gave him when he was like 6 and he had learned his first magic item thing with magic.
I love how flimsy that staff was too. Like he ends up, but doesn't Bokes end up breaking the staff like in a rage or something?
He like throws it on the ground, yeah, and it just
He
like,
breaks the
snaps in half super
Yeah.
easy.
He breaks the staff, but like the gem is where the magic is,
Mm-hmm.
and then he loses that in the water, and then but yeah, like I think a big thing of it is like the magic artifacts we see in the film are like representative of like the magic. Cool backflip. The magic in the world, like the I love the scene because some of it seems like Bokes talks about the little satellite they launched long ago and how it's causing a meteor shower because it's re-entering the atmosphere because it hasn't been maintained because all the wizards are gone and he can't do anything about it to fix it. He was hoping like if it's fallen in disrepair and it's gone forever. But then some of the stuff like when the golden eagle, the princess just shows up, she does her journey to go see it with her own eyes, and she sees it and it's immaculate and still flying strong, and she's like who made you? What were they thinking? Like how could someone make this? It's so beautiful. I wish I could understand their perspective. And how does he keep moving? And then, she doesn't need to know that. She doesn't need to shoot it down or disassemble it. She's like, look at it go. And then she goes back to the kingdom.
I love the countless birds that are like flying alongside it too. It's like the perfect juxtaposition of old world and like the natural world, and
It's in harmony. It's in harmony with the birds of the mountain, and it's a desolate, untouched land. It could just be a little toy going around in circles for millennia.
you know what's strange too is that like the more I think about it, that could even be, it could have been there for so long that it's a part of like these birds' life cycles. Like they look to it as like a beacon of like where to join at the end of like a year for like mating season or something like
It
that.
could have a purpose like that we
Yeah.
can't comprehend,
Yeah.
but you can still appreciate it for what it is, like a sunrise. Why does it look like that? Why do the clouds look like? Why is the ocean so cool? I don't know, but it's cool.
Yeah, this is one of those few movies that really touches upon the significance of like the most mundane life, having, you know, being just as equal as that of the king in the castle. And I love it because at any point it feels like it could have just gone off, and, you know, we could have been with the glass blower for the rest of the movie, or for like a good chunk of the movie, or the bear tamer family. And like, I love that sort of like fluidity in between all these different characters. Like, it just makes everything feel all the more significant.
It's good for all ages too. It's
Yeah.
a good one to put on in the background.
I forget what she says to at the beginning. She says something like, "There's so many miraculous things from the past or whatever that don't exist," and she's like looking through, I think, or showing the book, like the wizard book, and like this like amazing tower and the golden eagle and all these things, and it just made me think of like, I don't know, it makes me think of like human civilization and how like we are now with like iPhones, and so like just like dead inside kind of, or
We're all Bokes.
yeah, we're all Bokes, whereas like I think of like Egyptians or like the pyramids and stuff, and like, man, they had fucking crazy brain powers or something, dude.
The
Like,
Colossus of Rhodes.
yeah, I don't know.
How'd they build the pyramids, man?
I think about that. I'm like, dude, we can do crazy things, but we're just like,
Yeah.
we're locked in our,
Are we really
we're locked
going
in our
forward?
own castle,
Yes. I get,
our
and
own
then
figurative castle.
we're the wizards.
Yes.
We're a declining empire that's soon going to be gone, maybe. Not to get too grim, but I think that's a big part of the message of
Yeah.
Bokes, and just how much of a positive model the
It's
princess
like
is.
his crystal ball is his like connection to like
Reality.
an iPhone,
Yeah.
or whatever. You know, it's like when you
Holy
lose your
shit.
phone. Like that's how he was acting. Like if we
Yeah.
all lost our iPhones,
Oh my god!
we're all
Oh my
just
god!
like,
Where is it?
yeah,
Where's Find My iPhone?
Yeah, he talks to it. It's like, what mode do you want? What mode do you select? He's a lazy
Oh,
yeah,
that's
they were ahead of their
so-
time with that.
kid.
This
Yeah.
makes me feel like shit.
I know. I'm like, fuck.
No, he's sitting next to his window, like just
But we're
on his phone.
cognizant of it. You know, we're aware of it at least.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think a lot of people aren't aware of it, or they don't even have like the wherewithal or energy to even recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, and you know what's even more sad too is that he creates that giant painting on the rock. And it's, to some people, it could be considered like a work of art, and they even touch on it. They're like, "Yeah, you know, the wizard helped us, and like now we just live with him, and we just feed him, and we live under the rock that he painted.
Yeah.
Like we don't know what it is, but he's just like beckoning for like this lost civilization to come
save
find him,
Yeah.
and he like just withers away." Basically banking on immortality, that they'll like come find him one day, and he spends every day literally doing nothing,
Yes.
just sitting in front of that window, and he complains about being so bored, and he's like completely content to just let the princess like rot in the basement, and
And that's why Ample sympathizes or is empathetic with him, but she's like, I don't want my kids to be like me and like him stuck here. I'm gonna get a well. We're gonna get the water going again. They're gonna be able to go do their own adventures and not worry about the grandparents or their parents starving from a drought.
we need more films like this, more stories like this.
It's time for us to look it down our hands and ask ourselves, what can we
Yes.
make? What magic do we have?
Yes.
Look at you, man, you're making another short film.
Oh yeah, don't remind me.
And Jezzer's making a new short film. If you want to check out his stuff, check out his Vimeo, Jezzer Seraphica. You could look, you know, well,
Yes.
yeah,
You
the
could
info's already there.
Oh well, I mean, yeah. If you're listening to this, well, whatever. Instagram, waiting on Goku, which you'll find out if you are following Late Film Podcast.
And the bio should be updated by now.
Yeah. Hope, yeah, it should be now. Yeah, by now.
But yeah, I'm glad. I hope you guys all liked it. It was a nice laid back, like feel good movie.
It was
Yeah.
very chill. I
Very-
liked it.
Yeah.
Mostly because that's what I felt like watching. That's a part of the podcast. But yeah, I hope you guys all check it out. It's on YouTube currently. Good
Woo!
quality. And then I'm not sure where else you can watch it. I found it again through coincidence online.
Sure.
So yeah, just go to YouTube and get those views up.
$3.99.
Yeah, I had this, get them with the subtitles burned in.
Did you guys notice that one section though?
Yeah.
In the movie where I'm like, what the
is she
fuck did the
saying?
subtitles fucking
It was when she was trying to. It was when
She's like monologuing or something, right?
Yeah, and then just goes blank for like a whole minute. I'm like, what is she saying? I need to know.
Okay,
she's trying to figure out
like
how to tell a
profound.
story. She's trying to figure out how to tell a story, and she's recounting
when
her own
recanting
story.
her memories and stuff.
Oh, you guys got bad subs.
No, that was on the YouTube
No, it was on
one.
the YouTube.
I got the download. I got the subs from the sub website. There's only one misspelling I saw, and there's no. The only time there's a big pause is when the crowds were murmuring about the wizard.
Yeah.
I got the whole monologue she gives.
All right, if you want to see the primo director's cut 2.22
DM
V1.1, DM us. Pat has the
Instagram.
hookup.
Yes, I'll get a Google Drive going.
We don't have sponsors, nothing. We can't be monetized. We can't be bought.
Yeah.
Yes, but if Coors Light or Coors Banquet wants to sponsor us,
Yes.
let us know. We'll talk more. We'll talk more about you guys, just like how we did in our episode of Another Round.
That was a good episode. That was a fun one.
Like today's film, we're reviewing Princess Arete.
Arete, yeah.
Arete. I picked up a 12-pack before starting. I sat down.
Damn.
The refreshing taste
Cracked
of that
one
mountain.
open.
The mountains were blue. I tell you what, just like they were in the film.
But yeah, the next film we got, or the next person picking a film is Tyler.
Oh, yeah.
And he's always bringing the heaters.
Dropping bangers.
So yeah, I don't think I have any closing thoughts. I've talked a lot.
I don't think I have any
Yeah.
closing one.
I loved
closing
it.
one either.
I don't have any.
All right.
This is going to be one that I come back to often whenever I want to hit that.
I
feel
think this
good.
is a movie you can show like your kids, your niece, whoever.
Your dogs.
Yeah.
I've been showing my niece. Like I showed my
Your
niece.
frogs.
Your
Yeah, your
frogs. Shit.
Your grovels and your keys turn into a frog. But yeah, I think this is my only second time watching it, but I noticed it's when you're less locked in to finding out or trying to decipher, or I think on my first viewing I was too intensely watching, or the second viewing everything just fell into place. I think the third would just be like watching The Godfather on AMC for the 20th time, where you just turn it on like, oh, we're at the scene, sweet, and then turn your brain off. But yeah, thank you all for listening, and I look forward to the next pick in the next episode, and I hope you all join us.